And that's really important for people, I think, that they only share, them about themselves, not trying to drag other people in. So, it's your testify.
Yeah.
What's God done in your life? So, it's good to have Mikey here.
Oh, finally.
Mikey,
Thanks for asking,
welcome.
man. Oh, the first time asking me. Far out.
Been waiting, hey.
Been waiting, just anticipating the day.
Save the best for last.
Is this the last one?
Last step.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it.
Apparently,
I think
it's too
so.
surface. That's it. I'm out.
Wrap it.
So, why don't you just share a little bit about your upbringing, your walk?
Yep. Far out. So I was raised up in South Auckland, grew up in Mangere, moved to Otahu. So I don't know if you guys heard of South Auckland. It's not as bad as what people say it is. It's actually pretty good when you're growing up in it. Samoan.
Full? Are you full Samoan?
Yeah, both my parents are Samoan. And my full name is Michael Utai.
Can you speak Samoan?
Yep, I can speak Samoan.
Fluent?
No, I kind of lost the language because only my grandmother was speaking at home.
Oh, yeah.
But I can still speak it. If someone speaks to me in Samoan, I can speak it.
Nice.
Yeah.
You brought up...
I understand it.
Have you been to Samoa?
No, I haven't been to Samoa.
Okay.
No. I think it's me and my mom's the only two people in our family that hasn't been to Samoa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all my other siblings have been.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big, is the Utai family a big family?
I don't think it's big.
Okay.
From my understanding, the Utai family is different people who took the surname, and we've got a specific village that has the Utai surname.
Oh.
And I kind of know that side, but there's some other Utais out there that I don't know.
Okay. So do you know what village you're from?
Yeah, Siumu. Siumu is one.
And which island's that one?
Just down from whereabouts?
That's in
Singamonga or Upolu?
Upolu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's where my granddad's from. That's where we kind of grew up with the Samoan kilikiki and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And then my grandmother's got a different village as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just the beach there, hey. Yep.
Yes. I don't know. I haven't been.
Does that make you plastic?
I don't know.
Nah, you can talk Samoan, eh?
Yeah, I can speak Samoan.
Yeah, there. That's good.
Can you speak Samoan?
Nah.
Plastic.
Li titi ufa Samoa.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
That means I speak a little bit of Samoa. Very little. Wow. So it born up in South Auckland?
Yep. Brought up in South Auckland. Went to an all-boys Catholic school. That's where I met a few of the boys that are here now. Yep. Yeah.
So Christianity or faith
Yep.
would have been sort of instilled in you from
Young age.
young age.
Yeah, so I was brought up a Methodist. So my grandparents kind of raised me, and they were going to a Methodist church. And I was brought up knowing God. Went to Sunday school and all that kind of stuff, and kind of moved away from the church when I was about 10. And then
Is that your decision or family decision?
Oh, that was my decision at 10
Okay.
years old. I kind of told my grandmother I didn't really want to go to church again. And then my granddad wanted to go back to church probably a few years later.
Right.
And that was just with my grandmother. So they started going to church, and then my granddad got a little bit ill. So my grandma asked if I could take her to church while he was ill. So, yeah. There was heaps of times when I would drop her off, and I would just wait in the car till church was finished to pick her up. That was about 14, 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Driving.
Yeah, my granddad. Whoops, this is not going to the police. My granddad taught me how to drive when I was 14 because he was getting ill, and someone needed to drive them to the doctors and stuff. My brother was 15, probably 16 at the time. He didn't want to touch the car.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
up until 10, so your parents didn't go?
Nah, my parents.
So you went with your grandparents?
Yeah. So I lived with my mum and my stepdad, and my grandparents. But then, my grandparents.
Was it like traditional Methodist? like full Samoan speaking?
Yep, that was up to 10. And then we went to this other church, which was Efakasa. I don't know what it is in English, but then that's...
Is that in Mangere?
Yeah.
I think I know that one.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's where I kind of was raised up in that church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you'd turn up in the white shirts and all that every Sunday?
The white shirts. Yeah. The Efekangas.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday was white. Yeah.
Do you know the significance of that?
I thought it was just pure in heart. I think you dress white to be pure in front of the Lord or something like that.
Right.
So
Outside of the cup.
yeah, that's it. Just on Sundays though.
Yeah. So there was no real, like, what did you think of the Bible and God and all that growing up until 10 and stuff like that?
I think I knew God was real. I'll tell you, I knew God was real. I think I kept a moral compass that knew what was good and what was bad. Just growing up, I just kind of knew what was right and wrong. And that was one of the main reasons why I kind of just didn't like the church back then, because of just the hypocrisy. And so much hypocrisy. Yeah.
You could see it from when you were young, eh?
100%.
Yeah.
And then the words of my parents, so my grandparents' kids, so all the aunties and the uncles and stuff like that would make comments as well. Why would they do this for the church and all that kind of stuff? Like, I think in tradition, like Samoan tradition, you just give your life to the church, and it's integrated with culture, religion and culture, so integrated.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to split the two up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, for your grandparents, church was their number one thing.
Yeah, it was their number one thing.
And everything followed from there, whatever the
Yep.
like pastor said or whatever then.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. It was rough. My granddad was like, my grandparents were both like sitting on the table with the pastors and stuff from what I remember. And then I think my granddad had got dementia or something like that. Actually, before he got dementia, he was part of a bowling club, and so he did lawn bowls, and then he touched alcohol. So he vowed not to touch alcohol when he got saved or when he found the church. And then he touched alcohol late in the game. So I was like probably 8. Oh, no, actually I was probably about 10 at that time. Touched alcohol, then became an alcoholic just at old age. Yeah, coming home late. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Then lost his position at church and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, far out. I just remember that.
Wow.
Whoa. That's crazy. So he was saved and then late in the game,
Yeah.
down at the bowls club, started drinking.
Yeah, and then got
Jeez.
wasted and then got dementia.
Got wasted.
got dementia, had a stroke, all that stuff. And I remember the words of my grandmother was, that's what happens when you kind of, say you love God and then
Play with
not
the world.
surprised, that's it.
Do you reckon that was something to do with the church that he was a part of, though?
I think it's the environment, to be honest, bro. He kept going to the lawn bowls, and where they have lawn bowls, there's always alcohol, there's people and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know.
So it was more just his circle.
Yeah, because I know they love God, man. Like, I look at them and all I remember is them loving God, apart from those moments where he got wasted. So I was just thinking maybe the environment consumed him.
But even in that getting wasted, you can, like, deep down, you can still have a love for God. He's just
Oh, he doesn't lose his...
broken.
Yeah, he doesn't...
Yeah.
Destroyed, like, yeah. And so he lost his position at the church.
Yeah, either lost it or stood down from memory. Yeah.
And so what did that do for your own walk with God? Like, it was sort of wrapped up in tradition and religion?
Yeah. No, I don't know, because I don't think I really knew God. Like, I knew God, but in that sense of obedience and stuff, like, for me, when that happened, I don't know, it's probably just another thing. Like, see my family do their thing, and when that happened, it was kind of like no surprise. So what did your walk go like after that? So you're not going to church. What's your input? You're not my input was like I said, I always had a moral compass of knowing what was good and what was right, and I was raising up. Like, I had a great upbringing. My mum did awesome, but at the same time, like, they knew what they knew. So drink ups every week, all that kind of stuff. That's all I saw in the garage or family get-togethers, and that's just what my family did. But I never chose to consume alcohol, smoke,
Wow.
Even though I was surrounded by smoking and drinking, and but I think I was just always scared of my grandmother's word. She never did it.
Yeah.
So I kind of stuck close to her, and so that was always my moral compass was
That's pretty cool.
don't smoke, don't drink, don't have sex. Yeah.
Be a good
Find
boy.
someone, be a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, that held me for, until I was about 21, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to school, private boys' school in Auckland.
Yep. All boys school.
And then after school.
Yep. Then after school, I did a bit of uni. I went to do a commerce and science degree, and then I moved over to AUT, and then I started a business degree.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then moved over here with the family. So then that's when the rents got I got a job here. So we all decided to move over. I didn't want to stay by myself to finish uni, so just hopped on the plane with
So your whole family moved.
Yeah,
Literally.
basically.
Why?
Because my stepdad got a job here, so that was basically it.
Oh,
There was
wow.
just nothing for us back in New Zealand. My granddad had passed at that point, and my aunties were already here. So
Wow.
it's pretty small. Like compared to the traditional island family, I've got 2 aunties, 2 uncles, and a mum.
Wow.
So that's 5 of them, and
Yeah.
then basically everyone's over here at this point, and just one of my uncles are back in New Zealand.
So then you moved over.
Yep.
Your whole family.
Yep.
And then so no degree.
No,
You didn't finish that, and
Didn't
then you
finish it.
just got
Started
in.
working.
Wow.
Yep.
And God was still just a thing in the background.
Oh, at that point there was a bit of a fall. So when I hit 21, like I said, I was a good moral compass right up to 21. And I would say at this point was the first time I actually reflected on my life. And because there was like, I had friends who just were looking like they're loving life, doing
Right.
what they were doing, going out, drinking, smoking.
Some naughty friends, eh?
Nah,
You can name them, bro.
I'm just saying, I just had mates that looked like they were having fun. Up to 21, and that was the first time in my life where I just looked inwardly and I'm like, what am I doing? Like,
Wow.
yeah.
And your nan was still here though? Your
Yeah.
nan was in Australia?
Yeah, we all moved together to Australia. Yeah,
Brisbane?
yeah, Brisbane. We all stayed together in Brisbane.
Wow, and your nan was there, but you're like, oh. What did that feel?
I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to revisit it. As in when I started drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
So that happened in New Zealand probably about a month before I moved over to Australia. Oh, no, about 3 months before I moved over to Australia that I consumed alcohol for the first time and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And
So,
there wasn't initially like, oh, Nana.
yeah. Nah, I kind of tried to hide it one time. There is a story. Oh, man, this is when I first got caught. So the first time I started drinking, okay, so disclaimer, okay, the reason why I started to drink was because a mate of mine was going through a hard time. No, I'm honest. I'm being honest. Sam. I'm not trying to justify myself. Nah, but he was going through a hard time, and there was some thoughts going around in his head, and I was just like, man, dude, that sucks. Let's have a drink,
Wow.
just to make you feel better. And so that started. We're like, oh, sweet, had a drink, and then nothing happened to me that night. And then I think from then on, the word went around, and hey, Mikey had a drink. Oh, now you have to have a drink with me. Now you have to have a drink with me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, because you hadn't been drinking.
Because
So
I hadn't
everyone's
drank.
like,
I would say the boys were so good growing up. Like after initially realizing that I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that stuff, they all protected me from anyone
Respected you,
who tried to. Like we'll go to places and people will try to offer me drinks and stuff. The boys protected. They're like, nah, don't give Mikey anything.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
And I wasn't like stitching you up. I would say throw your mate under the bus, bro. Throw him under.
Don't do that.
yeah, Giannis. No,
That's what I wanted,
It's
bro.
not Giannis.
That's what I wanted.
He
You're right,
needs to
Giannis.
come on here, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
next.
just popcorn.
Yes.
my foot.
So you're so that was the start though.
That was
it
the start.
The slippery
so,
slope.
Yeah.
Would
And
you
then
call it a slippery slope
I would say it was
or just a straight out slide?
It was, man, I thought I knew I could stop myself.
Wow.
But then the next week after that week was Giannis's birthday. He turned 21 at that point. He turned 21. Oh my gosh.
Damn.
That was blacked out. So this is how my mom found out. Blacked out, and one of the boys had to drop me off home. And he tried to make an excuse to my mum. Oh, he's really tired. He's in the car. And I only found out like the day after. My mum was just like, does your friends think I'm stupid? But she wasn't upset at all. She was just like, mate, you're 21. You held off this long. It's all good.
Wow.
But
grandma.
Oh, she would have been pretty livid. Yeah.
She would have just been praying in the
probably
in the room.
Yeah.
Wow. So what? And that just was that a bit of a pattern from then on?
Yeah, that became a weekly thing after that.
Open the dam.
Oh, mate.
Held on for so long.
Legit. But I remember because of the thought of everyone was having fun, looking like they were having fun, I asked myself, like, why am I doing this? Like, at the time, I wasn't walking with God, and I wasn't having this moral compass because of God. I just knew what was wrong and right, and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the deeper sense, like, I probably mainly did it just so that I didn't disappoint my grandma, my grandparents. So,
Held off.
Yeah, like maybe just because of the way they raised me, I just probably didn't want to disappoint. I was one of those kids that didn't like disappointing people.
Yeah.
So I think that was one main reason why I kind of
Did it progress worse? Did it get worse?
Yeah, when I got to Australia, it got worse.
Really?
Yeah, so I got into the working life, and then it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go home, Monday, work all hours, Monday to Saturday sometimes, and repeat the cycle. Yeah, for 2 whole years.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And were you having fun?
Yeah. Like legit, I would say I was having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even thinking back now, like sin is fun. That's just the reality of it. Yeah. Sin is fun, but it's temporary fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're working in Brisbane, drinking heaps, going out heaps.
Yeah.
You're not with the Lord in that regard.
Yeah.
What's the turnaround? Like, what's the
moment?
Where's the turnaround? Because you've been brought up with religion.
Yeah.
So there's probably a bit of a resistance to that, was there?
Yeah.
To religion, like tradition, or do you like the tradition?
No. I was religion made me skeptical of an honest relationship with God.
Right.
That's the reality of it. But I didn't know how. I didn't know. How to have a relationship with God, but religion definitely, I was super skeptical.
Yeah. So, what's the turnaround?
So what happened?
Yeah.
When I clicked? Yeah. So 2 years down the track, I can name names here. Like, so Giannis was proposing to Jojo.
Yep.
And Jojo was attending chapel at that point in time, and Giannis messages me, and he's just like, "Oh, dude, I'm going to fly over. I'm going to propose to Jojo. Can you help me do the setup and the proposal and all that kind of stuff?" And I was up in Brisbane at that time, and he was coming to the Gold Coast, and we were planning, emailing each other, and then the day came. I can't say my testimony without mentioning any of these guys, because
of course.
Jojo was a huge influence to me finding God again. So Giannis flew over, did the proposal one Sunday, and then they invited me to come celebrate with them the Saturday, the following week, just to say thank you for all that kind of stuff. And at that point in time, like, I wasn't saved, Giannis wasn't saved, and we were planning to go out on the Gold Coast
on Saturday night.
On Saturday night, and so we, but there was one. So Jojo said, "Yeah, you guys can go out as long as you come to church tomorrow morning." And we're like, "Yeah, sweet ass."
She's awesome, mate.
So we went out, came back, basically probably wore the same clothes that we went out with to church. Because all we knew is you dress smart.
Yeah.
So, and then we came to church, in August.
What was your expectation going to church?
I've been to many churches, so I was super skeptical. Like, again, I walked into chapel just another church. So church is not new to me. So I went to a Catholic school. We did mass all the time. Yeah. So all the traditional standards is not new to me. So again, I walked into chapel thinking, it's just another church. Yeah. Come tick the box. It's all good. Jojo just said, come to church.
We're here. We're here, Jojo.
And then it was that day. I remember it was my birthday, August 10th, 2014 was when we came to church for the first time. Because Giannis, he got weird. He walked up the front at the altar call, and I was like, what the heck is this guy up to? So, yeah, and I was like, dude, bro, we just went out. How could you go up the front? Yeah, so that happened for Giannis. He walked up and everyone got to meet Giannis, and that's when I kind of realized, far out, these guys are really friendly.
And that would have been a big deal for you seeing him go up
Move.
front.
Because
Like
this is
that's-
Giannis. You know
yeah,
Giannis,
yeah.
bro. He's the staunchest guy I know.
He must still be drunk as man.
I'm like, oh, God, did
shouldn't
the
have
number
come.
in your heart just now? Nah. But
Wow.
yeah, so that was huge. And I was pretty weirded out. Like now, if I had to try and revisit my feelings back then, it was so weird seeing people put their hands up in the air, praising God, worship, singing, standing up like that, almost moving, dancing side to side, everything like that. Being new to it now, I'm just like, holy moly. Just the thoughts that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of church this was.
Wow.
And so he was only going to be here temporarily, and then, or was he here for good then?
Yeah, so he came to propose and move for good at that point.
And you're living in Brizzy,
And I was living in Brisbane.
so then you go home after that.
And then I go home after that.
Sunday afternoon, go home.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I got trapped. So
Got trapped.
I would say I reckon God had other plans, because there was opportunities where I had to come back to the Gold Coast, and I got locked in on, I think I came to Purple Book. It was either your first or your second week, because Jojo and Angie needed to get dropped off at the airport. And I came to stay down just so I can drive them to the airport. But you guys were having Purple Book that night.
Wow.
And I came to Purple Book.
Was that
not even
during
signed
the
up.
week? Or?
Yeah, it was a Wednesday.
you're-
So they were going on a Thursday. Jojo asked me if I could come down on the Wednesday to drop them off to the airport, because at that time it was a manual, and Giannis didn't know how to drive a manual. So just throwing them under. Giannis plays a big part in this.
Yeah. It's all
About
relevant.
protecting people, yeah, I was kidding about that, bro. I'm
No.
straight throwing them under.
It's all
But
relevant.
now he's a beast
information.
at driving manual. mate. He's a beast.
Don't believe it for a second.
But yeah, so he didn't know how to drive manual at the time, came to Purple Book, and then that's when I got trapped. Marsh, you don't even know, bro, but you were like, see you next week, and I said yes.
Did
And
you?
You know me, bro. Like as soon as I say yes, I get locked in, bro, and I could not come back, like because I said yes to you, and I felt like at the point in time, I still had the religious banner of Pastor Marsh just asked me to do something. I have to yes, Pastor. So that yes locked me into coming to complete the whole Purple Book. You probably never know that, but that actually your yes made me like I was,
Wow.
I
So
was,
you came down every Wednesday?
every Wednesday, I came down every Wednesday
Straight after
to,
work?
yeah, to do Purple Book,
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
yeah,
And that sort of set a bit of a foundation.
legit. And I was asking all the questions, and that's why I met you, Sam.
Yeah.
Was that with Paulie?
That was, our group was Sandeep and
Yeah,
Walter.
was Paulie not? Paulie was that one?
No, maybe.
I don't even remember. That was a long time ago.
You were just
I was just going with. That was before
you were just
rehab, eh?
yeah,
Yeah, it's a long
trying
time
to
ago.
get through each day.
What are we doing here?
So when was the turnaround point?
yeah.
Nice try.
Wow. So what shifted though? Because even though you said yes out of sort of a obligatory far out the pastor said yes.
So to come every Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. When did that sort of
man,
drop
Purple
off and
Book
change?
is crazy. So
Right.
the foundational stuff started sinking in. Every week I came, starting to learn more about the Holy Spirit. So the Methodist and Efakasa, I don't really know if they talk about Holy Spirit. So that was the first time I was introduced to Holy Spirit.
Right.
I always knew Jesus, always knew God, but this Holy Spirit character was
New.
Yeah, it was new to me. So so as we're doing Purple Book, that's when I started. Yeah, holy moly,
Did you start? Did it start creating a hunger?
It created a hunger, but it also made me turn inwardly. Like I started looking at my life and realizing, man, God, dude, like, man, I grew up with you, man. Like I knew the Bible verses. I went to Sunday school. I did all this. I know your character. And then I just like, oh, look how far I've fallen from when I first knew you. And so it turned inwardly into the thought of, mate, I'm so crap. And at that point, I would say I was living in the world, not realizing I needed anything. I was happy. Like, I was happy with doing what I was doing. As empty it was also, like,
fun.
I felt, fun, and I felt part of the crew, like the work crew. They're going out every weekend and all that kind of stuff. And so, I didn't know I needed anything until I got smacked up, and then everything turned inwardly like, holy heck, this guy did die for me, man. I remember this. I remember the prayers of my grandmother. I remember all this stuff. So that's when things started changing in my heart.
Did you, did something shift in your relationship with your nan when you sort of, said, actually, I need to start getting my life aligned?
I started talking to her a lot more about church.
Man, she would have loved that.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was, Fast forward, it was the day that we were moving in together, and that was probably another 6 months.
To Rio?
Yeah, to Rio. So I was still pretty fresh when...
Yeah, I knew.
Yeah. So when we all moved into Rio, and then that was the moment I taught, like my grandmother I was always with my grandma, always helping her out with stuff. So it was the day I said, I'm moving to the Gold Coast with the boys. And she got really upset. She's like, why are you leaving me? Like, it's always been us two.
Yeah.
And I got teary-eyed, and I was just like, I think I found God on the Gold Coast. And then she just stopped crying, and she was just like, what the heck? She's like, son, like, go. If you think God is there for you, go.
Oh,
and then that's
the
when,
best.
that was just, I was super at peace when she said that. But before that, she was crying like, man, you was always just been us two.
Wow.
Why are you leaving me? What did I do? All that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
How influential was your grandmother in your life?
Like so influential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she the sort of person that before you do something, you think of her type thing, or try not to think of her?
like what? Do something good or do
something
something
bad?
I don't
know. Just
both. So I don't know. I don't think about much when I do something. I just kind of do it.
Yeah.
But every time I reflect, she's always forefront of my mind.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you think you're like? I know I'm my nana's favourite.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So she's happy. In a sense, she's blessed you with your journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that gave me so much peace to move down to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's been fire ever since. Yeah. In a lot of ways.
Nah, definitely. 100%. 100%. I have not regretted any part of this journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more like correct me if I'm wrong, but there's, like, I know there's been significant things for you, but it's more like a slow grind of changing and looking inward, eh?
Yeah, 100%, bro.
That's cool. That's cool. Can you
elaborate?
Yeah.
So in the early days, it was quick, man. So came to church, got baptized probably like 3 months after, moved in with the boys, did internship, and it was just... I just wanted more. I just wanted more. Yeah. So that was a quick journey, and then the slow grind to where I am now is, I reckon, it's been more of the slow grind.
Yeah.
Of cool. I've tasted all this. Now I have to compact it to what actually God is calling for me now. How He's designed me and who am I in Him, instead of gleaning off all the greats that have walked with me in my Christian walk so far.
Yeah.
So,
Would you say there was like a defining thing that happened in relation to you turning to God, or was it like just a series of things and you giving it attention that formed your belief, or like your...
Yeah, okay. So, this is an interesting part. Like, I don't really share this much, because it's not relevant for people, because it's only relevant for me. Yeah. And so when you walk with God, you kind of only know the journey that He's asking you to walk on. And it's, so through that whole process of just loving and on fire for God and all that kind of stuff, I came back to this realization of, am I doing it for me, or am I doing it for people? Am I trying to please people? Or, and then just seeing things... just happened, just with my eyes, that kind of challenged me. I would say the word challenge because it's not wrong, and it's just my own beliefs and my own opinions and my own thoughts started to form itself, and so stuff were happening and it wasn't aligning and things weren't things being spoken wasn't coming to pass and all that kind of stuff, and that's when I was really challenging God. Was everything that I'm learning right now, is it true? Or have I just
gone with the flow?
Have I just gone off the flow?
Yeah.
That was a few years down the track. When
Good question to have. I think when you find something new on something so massive like God, and you drink it and drink it and drink it, you have to come to a point where you do ask those questions. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a good thing, right?
Well, now it's a good thing. At the point in time, I don't know if it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe the way I was asking it.
Right.
But yeah, I remember getting so offended because of these questions that I was asking God.
Right.
Yeah. Because it wasn't aligning in terms of what I was reading, in terms of what I was seeing, in terms of things weren't aligning. And then that's when I started feeling, like, what the heck? Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
And
I don't mind. Yeah, I think there has to come a point where you're asking, is what I'm eating nutritional?
Yeah.
Well, and then like I just think about young people that are grown up in church that have just like glazed over for a bit, and then they hit their teenage years, and then they ask that question, and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't align. This is bullcrap. I'm out.
Yeah,
my parents are hypocrites. These guys are hypocrites." Because like the church, the Samoan church or whatever it is, it's all same really.
100%.
It just, I think we're doing it a bit more modern.
Yeah,
we took off the white clothes and we have more worship that's easier to get into and know whatever. But it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I asked that question because of that. I'm like, because that's like the same for me. I have a moment, but then it's the questions come and the struggle comes, and
I guess that's when the concept of family became more real to me than anything else. So in those moments when I was questioning God, I'm like looking at worship, and I'm like, why do we need to not perform for you, but why do we need to create this atmosphere and this environment? Why can't we just love you, God? Why can't we just come and be still and love you, God? And like, so these were all the things that I was getting offended by in my own mind, coming to church, being still, and I'm like, man, I used to love it. Like, you know me, Sam. I was like into worship and loving all that kind of stuff. And then a few years down the track, it got to this point where I was just questioning why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I praising like this? Why can't I just be praising God in my silence? Why do we have to build this environment or this atmosphere to praise God? And then just why can't we be broken and still praise God? Why can't we be injured and still praise God? Why can't we? All this stuff was just, I was just, just going through my brain and walking through that journey by myself and trying to understand why all these things. And then, and then not long after, then some stuff started bottling, that were bottled up inside, started to come up, and then I kind of went through this journey of just that, and then, here I am today. But I had to journey. I have no regrets, man. I had to journey those hard journeys and offenses, and because then it brought out some stuff that I needed to address. Yeah, and that was awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you do have to.
Yeah,
and asking why,
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So and reconcile it in your own heart.
Yeah.
So it might not be, some things aren't necessarily the way you would do it.
Yeah.
But that's why you have.
Yeah, but to be honest, Marsh, at that point when I was doing it, because I would think about my salvation turnaround, and all that kind of stuff, and then when I reflected, I was then starting to blame the spiritual leaders of, how did you let me get to this point of believing this? That at that point I was just starting to question myself, and I'm like, far out, if they knew, would they still put me through this process of going through this? And that was my own offense. I don't put any blame on anyone now. But at that time, I was like, surely he knows what I'm going through. This because this me individualizing everything. So everything was about me at that point, and I was just like, far out, man. I'm so offended. So it's like, but like, to be honest, that was the start of the journey of when I was thinking that process of they didn't protect me. It brought me back to my childhood, and with my biological dad leaving at a young age, that's when that journey started. And that was only a few years ago, and that was the actual raw emotion that I was feeling at that time. Was, oh man, these guys that I put trust in, they didn't protect me. And I was just like, the trust that I put in my own dad didn't protect me. So that came to the surface, and I had to journey through that. So it wasn't necessarily the church, it wasn't necessarily anybody. It was actually God bringing out something that he wanted to address that had gone so many years unaddressed.
How did you, instead of addressing it, you would suppress it? So how did you suppress that?
Just not think about it.
It's like a shut door.
Yeah, it's always so from a young age. So my family, we're not very, what would you call it? Openly, like we hold our things. Like no one would know that you're going through something.
Right.
Yeah, that's just us. My mom is the best, but she's stubborn. That's probably where I get my stubbornness from, and she shows no sensitivity. I don't know. I can't say that. She does show sensitivity, but she can be like so stubborn. Like, nah, it's all good. So a lot of that was hard love. Like that's the kind of love. Like I would never say I loved her.
Right.
She would never say she loves me. Up to this point, recently in my walk, that we now like end the call with "I love you," all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, so that's. Yeah, so I got to that point because my upbringing was you just don't show your emotions to each other. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So then the Lord taps on that part of your life, eh?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, this is an area of brokenness that
needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sort of you can't engineer that, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
That was a pretty long process.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't engineer it.
Yeah, and you can't engineer it. You can't formulate it. You can't
resolve it.
You can't resolve it, eh?
Nah. Well, you can't humanly resolve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to, like, okay, people listening to, your journey and, God's intervention? What would you say to them when they do take offense to, because they're internalizing something and it's all about them. And they do put judgments on others that create offense.
My thing is just to have great mentors, eh?
Right.
Have great mentors. I'm massive on mentors.
What does that mean, though?
Have people who know the vision of chapel,
Right.
who know family. So that's when I said that's when the real definition of family became real to me, was because you'll never be like, no one will ever be perfect. There's no church family that is ever perfect. There's so that reality hit hard because my family's not perfect, but they're also very great. So, and you take the good with the bad, and that became very real. So at that moment, I was like, man, I could move to another church. I would get offended everywhere I would go, but I can't leave this family because these guys are my family, man. I love them. Like,
you can't change your Utai name, right?
No,
well, you can, but you can't.
Yeah, no, I can't.
It's your family.
I'm always Utai. I'm always belonging to this family.
Yeah.
So moving elsewhere was never an option. It was just trying to figure out how do I navigate in this family that I choose. Like I literally just love everyone in the chapel community, and I can't depart because I'm just like I'll take the good with the bad with everyone in our family, and just in the hopes that they'll take the good and the bad with me.
Can you see how that can be dangerous? Can you see how that can be dangerous too, though?
Take the good and the bad?
Yeah, like, I'm just fully committed to this. Like, like traditional Samoan churches.
In an unhealthy...
In an unhealthy way, for sure.
Because maybe the Christianity your grandparents brought up with
Yeah.
was like what you're experiencing 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And because of this is my family.
No,
I'll take the good with the
so
bad.
they moved churches.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
after that
okay.
Methodist one, they moved churches.
Oh,
2 churches,
okay.
and then another one over here. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good to know.
So after my granddad's fall, we basically moved church straight after that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Because you can see how that can.
Oh yeah, I
That
definitely
sort of, I'm
see it that
committed
way.
to this family
Yeah.
can actually be
Oh
sort of dangerous
yeah. So
down the track.
sorry, I'll premise that with my offences to this family wasn't the family's fault. It was
Right.
my own offences.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does
But
that make sense?
how do you realize? That's big to realize. That's realizing that.
Awareness, yeah.
I reflect a lot, hey bro.
Yeah, well, it's good because. Yeah, because that's that's good self-reflection and awareness, because most people would happily keep the offence on someone else in order to justify the separation from the family.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah. I guess when it comes down to it, where I'm at now was not where I was a few years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess my responses wasn't as mature as I was back then.
Yeah.
But I guess now I just hold the tension of, man, we're capable of good and evil. Like, that's the reality of it. There's the tension that we have to hold, that any decision that we make can lead us at any point in direction.
Yeah.
So I like, I'm optimistic at heart, but I like putting myself at the reference point of the least, so that I can just keep humbled, because I know what it's like to hold offense. I know what it's like to put blame on others. But now I'm just like, if I just blame me first, where can I go from now?
Yeah.
Where can I go? Yeah, because you can only be in control of yourself.
Yeah.
And just how you handle situations. Like, if no one's going to change, you can just change how you handle certain situations. So
Yeah.
That's hard though, man.
oh, it is. It
So
is hard. But I think the more you do it, it just becomes just another thing, you know? Just another thing.
Yeah. Humility is a good thing.
Ah,
It's a tough thing.
yeah. With a stubborn heart like mine, it is, bro. Holy moly.
Humble pie, I don't know if it tastes any better, but I think the more you eat it.
I think it's funny, man, because you get to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm real good.
Yeah.
I'm real good. And I got all this sorted out. And then something that you think you have sorted out. And then it's like, you don't. And you're like, no, I do. Because I always eat humble pie. And it's like, but you're not.
Yeah.
Just personally reflecting right now. What we're sharing.
It's good, bro.
It is good.
Yeah.
That reflection is good. But, I suppose the word of warning would be if you reflect too much, it can lead to depression.
Yeah.
Because you realise how...
So I'm naturally optimistic, so I don't recommend it too much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
if you self-reflect too much,
Yeah.
you can look at how stink you really are.
Yeah. Which is,
Whereas-
man, I reckon before Christ, that was me.
Right.
The lowest self-esteem. I still probably hold self-esteem issues, but
Right.
nothing that I can't handle anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because self-reflection, part of actually transformation and healing is looking out as well.
Yeah.
So it's that healthy, I know I'm a mess, I know I've got things to work on, but part of the restoration is actually helping others.
Yeah, 100%.
And then all of a sudden, actually.
Yeah, being hopeful and...
Hopeful, yeah.
Because that's like Solomon says that, and then you can see that in Jordan Peterson, how he's so smart, but you can see there's so much reflection.
Yeah.
But it's depressing.
Yeah.
There is a balance.
Yeah, I think it is important.
Optimistic, like you said.
Yeah. Were
Optimistic
you always
in the heart.
optimistic as a kid and stuff?
Yeah, I think I was
Yeah.
always optimistic, yeah.
Is that sort of like naughty as well? Do you say?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I guess
Were you a full-on kid?
Oh, nah, I was a compliant kid. I was a compliant kid, bro. Like,
Compliant?
yeah, like, as in,
Lies,
like,
bro.
what you guys see today is the freedom in Christ and me.
I'm calling your mum, bro.
Legit, call my mum, man. I was,
So you were shy?
100% shy,
Compliant?
compliant, didn't want to disappoint anybody.
Wow.
Nah, that's true, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
How long have you known Giannis for?
for since we were year 7.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
How old
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
Grade 7 here?
So you were like his shadow.
Grade 7's like
He's
11.
my shadow, but nah.
Your little
So,
brother.
yeah, we were in the same class in year 7, gapped class, and then we weren't in the same class in year 8, I think, and then year 9 we're in the same class again.
So like since 10, 11 or something.
Yeah, year 9,
That's
10,
cool,
11,
man.
12.
That's awesome.
We became
That's
good mates
more
and stuff.
most of your life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my
that's-
relationship with Giannis and Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
so sick.
yeah,
man. That's
more than
awesome.
half my life.
Yeah.
So they are, if you have them on.
Who should we get on next? Just
Mate, take your pick.
Giannis would be great, eh?
Giannis will be
Yeah.
great.
Because he's a man of few words.
yeah, that would be
Yeah,
It'd be good
We'll have
to
to
see.
you guys will have to be on.
Giannis and Paulie on at the same time.
Oh, just get Paulie on. That'll do. No, that's awesome. Anything else you want to just share or encourage someone with, or
No, not really.
something? What are you optimistic about at the moment?
Oh no, I'm to be honest, I'm just super content where I'm at the
Nice.
moment. Eh? Just still heaps to learn,
Yeah.
still heaps of things to uncover.
Yeah.
God's good.
Cool.
I can't. Yeah, I'm on this part of this journey now. On the other side of daddy issue stuff, and then realizing, far out, this family is sick. I'll do whatever I need to do to be the best I can, for God, but then for people.
One great lesson you've learned from Igniters.
Oh man, take things lightly, eh?
Great.
Holy moly!
Yeah, that's cool.
Great. One great lesson you've learned from NYC.
Don't individualize everything, eh? Don't make everything about me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And one great thing you've learned from young adults.
Keep driving. Keep having a drive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
Nice.
Well, thank you, Michael.
Thanks, bro.
Utai. Actually, when I in Surrey, you're Michael Utai.
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 Michael.
Calling Mikey Utai.
Yeah.
So
Thanks so much,
call
Michael.
him-
Thanks, Samuel George Buckley.
I love it. I love
You
it.
don't have a middle name.
Nah.
Not even a Samoan middle name.
So that was my dad's middle name. As soon as I turned 18, I took that off.
Really?
Yeah.
By default, like on the.
Yeah,
property?
yeah. So I
Wow.
changed my surname was Saliva, which is my dad's surname.
Oh yeah.
But when I turned 18, I took off his first name was my middle name, and his last name was my last name. So
Oh
I
yeah.
took the middle name off and changed
wow.
my surname to
So-
my mom's name.
Michael Utai.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing today.
Thanks,
So,
brother.
always
And, awesome.
popcorn to is it Giannis?
Yeah,
Or-
Giannis, let's go.
Giannis. He won't listen to this.